What's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? It's been a while since we have had a one-on-one. I think the last one-on-one was my super ramble. That was all over the place. If you listen to that one, I'm sorry. But today I wanted to focus on a situation that happened yesterday. So if you've paid attention to any of my somewhat recent videos, they've been a continuing theme on racism and whole different other roads that all start at racism, right? And how it needs to go, all that kind of bullshit, right? So I took it upon myself to try and see other people's views, right? I've always said I enjoy listening to people with different views than my own. It's the only way to grow. So through Facebook, went on and joined various anti-racism groups and started, just seeing what was posted here and there, and seeing what people from other parts of the country, maybe even the world, I don't know about all that, but definitely from other parts of the country thought of the situation. Because obviously, being like me in the South here, the way I see it's more likely not going to be the same as like somebody from up north is going to see it, or from northwest. Even if you see that racism is bad, you might see a different form than what I see, and vice versa, right? So there was this one group in particular that by the title, seemed really straightforward. It was either the Association of Southern Anti-Racist Educators or the Association of White Anti-Racist Educators. And I don't know. It was definitely anti-racist educators, right? So I'm like, okay, this has got to be a pretty well-informed group if that's going to be the title, right? So I get in it, I get accepted, and this is the only group that would post stuff that had me wondering, whoa, like is this the way we're going? Is this the route that people are really taking? The movement, the cause, and you think this direction is the direction we need to go? Because there was one post in particular, some of you may have heard it or heard me speak about it already. But here recently, I think in the beginning of June, it could have been at the end of May, there is a white homeowner from Myrtle Beach, a white woman, who kept having issues with her appliances, right? So she kept calling this appliance repairman, happened to be a black guy who had his own appliance repair service company, right? So he comes over, fixes the thing, cool, everything's fine. He comes over again the second time, right? And they're chit-chatting, and she seems like a well-to-do white individual, white person, white woman, whatever you want to call her. And she asks him, without a, hey, may I, or anything, just straight up asks him, how do you feel about the current climate situation, right? Now, he says, and all this can be looked up, so I'm not saying shit that can't be fact-checked, but he says that he at first thought she was talking about, the whole virus situation. But then she clarified that she was more so talking about the protests and all the, anti-racism movement that's happening with Black Lives Matter and all that kind of stuff. And he proceeded to tell her pretty much how his life has been as a black individual. How, he refuses to take work appointments after 5 o'clock just for fear of if he gets pulled over, he might not be able to make it back home. He gets pulled over about half a dozen times a year, he says. And how I think he mentioned something of there was one customer who had had multiple repairmen cancel or weren't able to do the job, right? And he says those repairmen happen to be white individuals. And he goes in and he's able to fix it, right? So he's able to fix what these other people couldn't do. But still, that customer ends up calling the company that he worked for before he started his own, ended up calling the company and told the company that he's not allowed to come to her house or their house. I don't know if it was a man or woman, but he wasn't allowed. He fixed the issue. From what he stated, he was the only black person, repair person, that had gone to that person's house. And even though he fixed the issue, he was told he could never service that customer again. So this white woman's hearing this, and her eyes are opening up. She's seeing a side of life from another person's eyes that she's never seen before, obviously. And she's doing her best from my understanding, from how I'm looking at it. She ended up asking him if it is okay to share their conversation online. He agrees. He lets her know that if she ever felt like standing up for the cause, that he would be there right beside her. And so this post she puts on Facebook, and it gets shared and liked. I think they said 10,000 times or something like that, right? So by that, everything, in my opinion, sounds great, right? That's an individual coming out of their comfort zone. I think she said she was 40-something years old, coming out of her comfort zone to ask a very touchy subject, obviously. It is a very touchy subject, but one that needs to be brought up more, especially by those who aren't sure. Don't be scared to ask, in my opinion. You gotta go about the right way. But, the way she did it seemed perfectly fine to me. So, again, that post gets shared and liked, and, a whole bunch of people comment. And she specifically states, because they did a news interview with local news down there in Myrtle, she specifically stated that numerous white individuals commented about how they've always wanted to ask, but were scared to ask. And if you're listening and you're from the South like I am, you don't even have to be white, but especially if you are white, that because it is such a touchy subject, there are people that aren't necessarily racist, don't have a racist bone in their body, but are scared to even bring up this subject, are scared to even talk about that subject, because they don't want to be looked at as a racist. Or let's say, they're around, it's their family, and they're that one anti-racist person. They're one person in their family or their neighborhood or their, local community group, whatever, that don't see it the way the people that they live by and next to and are friends would see it. You would be naturally hesitant to even bring that up, because the people around you aren't going to agree with it. And they're going to call you out, and they're going to try and, bash you, whatever the hell they want to call it. All right, so that's a natural, it's a natural thing that happens down here. But she took it upon herself to step outside her comfort zone and ask. And it turned out great. That's one less racist person, hopefully, in the world, who put her story out, her and his story out, for others to see. And according to the comments, other people are seeing I like what you did, and maybe they ended up having their own conversation with somebody. And that's what that's getting the ball rolling, and what was it, like a snowball effect. Hopefully that it ends up being a snowball effect, right? Because that's what we need to happen. Anyways, back to the group. So this group is basically bashing this woman because of her approach. They didn't agree with her approach, and they said she should not have used her white power to question that man. Said it's not up to, or excuse me, it's not a black person's job to explain racism. Now that in particular, that's true. Obviously, it's not. It shouldn't have to be explained. You should be able to see it, because it is out there if you look. But for those that don't look or don't see it because they're not around enough people, you have to ask. You know, and I don't get how the hell they decided to, from her asking about his situation and how he felt about it and going around, and how he was graciously accepting of the question and went into detail about everything. He was fine with it. How are you going to bash a woman and throw up white power? How does that at all come into play here? How does that at all come into play? I don't understand that. And if you're in a group titled Anti-Racist Educators, if anything, you should applaud that woman, because she took the time to educate herself. She asked the right question. And that is a right question, in my opinion. You know, he accepted. Everything turned out fine. He had her back. She has his back. In the end, that is what matters for this particular situation. That is it. We need more people like that. More people who are, in the back of their minds, afraid to ask, but know it's a fucking problem and decide, you know what? Here we go. I'm gonna ask. I don't get how you can attack that woman. Because again, if anything, that led to more white people who maybe she knows that I've always wondered, but never truly understood. Because as a white person, we can never fully understand. It doesn't matter if it happens right next to me. I will see it. I can condemn it all I want. You know, I know it's wrong. I understand that. I understand it's fucking wrong. But it doesn't happen to me. Not like that. So that type of understanding is only, you can only get so much as a black person, which can only happen if you listen to the experiences that other people have, that other black people have. That's the only way to get that. You know, the post was talking about, well, she should have just read up on books and documentaries and all that kind of shit. And yeah, okay, that's legitimate, but you can't get a full understanding of that situation if all you're reading is a book or listening to a documentary. You can get a decent, but nothing compares to a real world experience that you hear from somebody who's local. You know, it's like if my neighbor, I happen to have a black neighbor, hell, I have a few of them. You know, if he was to tell me of some story of his that maybe he, you know, we got Walmarts around, maybe he got, you know, had an altercation at one of the Walmarts or off one of the roads that I know, you know. So now he's telling me that situation. So next time I'm driving that road or driving by that Walmart, that store, whatever the case is, I'm like, damn, man, you know, that's the old man had his situation happen, his incident happened. So now I have a tangible spot in my life to connect to his. Physically, that's where it happened. I know that because he told me. So I'm gonna drive by this place, and every now and then I'm gonna remember, damn, that's where it happened, man. That's where it happened. You can hear that from somebody else, but when you can drive, or you drive by that spot every day, and it hits your mind every now and then, that's a different level of understanding. You can physically place yourself there because he's local. That's a whole different ball game at that point. You cannot get that from books, documentaries, anything, fucking podcasts. You can't get that unless you talk to somebody in person and hear what they say. Am I right? Am I right? If I'm wrong, please, man, let me know. Let me know. If I am not understanding a certain part of something, please let me know. I'm all for having a discussion on that. And I do have some hopeful interviews lined up with people that don't agree with me, because that's what I want. I get majority of people that probably listen to my episodes here generally agree with me, and I love that too. Obviously, the feedback so far has been really, really good, and I know at times with certain subjects I'll get pretty emotional, you know, but it's because again even though I don't live it, I fucking see it, and it's disgusting. I don't like it. I don't care for it. Um, but yeah, that got that off my chest. That's something I really just wanted to bring out because if you're gonna bash someone for doing what both people in the end were cool with, it's like I just said we were gonna get off it. We're back, but it's like with gay marriage or whatever. That's them, bro. Like if that's them, fuck. Who am I to say no? It ain't got nothing to do with me. If they want to do their own thing, let them do their own thing. So if those two people are happy with the situation, how each of them presented themselves to each other, who the fuck are we to criticize? Doesn't make no damn sense. Does not help the cause at all. Especially when you say it's good for her, but she did it wrong. No, motherfucker, no. If it's good for her, and you agree that we need more people like that, it's good for her. Fuck it. That's it. She ain't going any crazy other route. She wasn't mean to the man. She didn't call him anything and force him to say shit. She asked him. He replied. He had her back. She has his. End of discussion. Ugh, but yeah, I'm gonna leave this one. This is gonna be a real short one. But I do got some. Hopefully, coming Wednesday, I have an interview or another guest coming on. Either I'm going on his or he's coming on mine. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going on vacation with the fam tomorrow. Y'all be safe. Y'all take care of yourselves. Much love. Peace.